We'll edit it.
National drug shortages and safety recalls aren't just headlines. They are daily crises that land on pharmacists' counters. This triggers a frantic manual scramble of research and phone calls that puts a skilled clinician away from patient care. What if we could build a tool to automate that crisis? Hey everyone, I'm AK.
I'm Arnav.
I'm Aryan.
I'm AQ.
And we built RxBridge for the Productivity Track, the Commuter Challenge, and the Gemini API Challenge to solve the critical workflow bottleneck for pharmacists.
So let's start off with our front end. We built this on React and Vite, which gives us a modern interface and an incredible developer experience. Everything loads quickly and feels seamless for the user. For authentication, we use Superbase Auth. It handles sign-in, login, and secure sessions automatically so users get a smooth, reliable experience while maintaining enterprise-grade security. Currently, we've already created the credentials in the backend. And so we log in, and now I'll pass it over to Ari to explain the dashboard.
Awesome. So this is where a lot of our backend comes into play. And for the purposes of this demo, instead of using a timed trigger, we're actually using a trigger built on a button. In an ideal scenario, this trigger would run automatically. When we click Run Compliance Scan, we have a web scraper built by Beautiful Scoop that runs in the background that scrapes the FDA drug shortage database. And also we have an API that connects to the FDA drug recall API and essentially informs the pharmacist what drugs are under a national shortage and what drugs have been recalled. Here we have a list of different drugs sorted by the criticality level. As you can see on the top, we have a summary of the different levels. We've checked 493 total items, and we've identified that 12 are critical, 26 are recalled, so on and so forth. Another thing that we can do is we can search for the medications, and we can also look here and get an understanding of the legend of what each different color means for every different medication. When we click on a drug, you can see here that we have a button that says Get AI Help. Once we click this button, it generates an AI recommendation, which I'll pass on to Akhil to explain.
So this AI recommendation takes in industry metrics such as days of supply, and from that metric, we then make a risk level associated, which Aryan explained earlier. When these drugs are in either high or medium risk, we then use the Gemini API to go scour its knowledge base for suitable substitutions. We use Gemini effectively with prompt engineering to make sure that not only are we giving substitutions, but those are medically suitable substitutions that would actually kind of have a similar effect of the drugs that are in kind of shorthanded. Once we get these recommendations, we then have the ability to see like a short overview of it and even generate communication that makes a draft email template using that same Gemini API that effectively makes all the information in a short, easy to read, easy to understand format for any physician or doctor to take a look at it and decide which alternative is the best for each individual patient on an individual basis. We also then get the option to send an email, which will open this up in a separate email tab. So whatever your preferred email thing is, to be able to look at whichever, to send directly the email that you wanted sent.
So another thing I really wanted to highlight was the impact of our project. So the biggest thing is that our project is grounded in a lot of truth. The first thing that we did before we built anything in our project is that we consulted with friends and family in the healthcare industry to identify true bottlenecks in the healthcare industry. And they've identified that communication between the pharmacist, the doctor, and the patient is one of the greatest bottlenecks. And there's a lot of time to be saved there. And it can allow a lot of more care to be given back to the people involved in that industry. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is that all the data that we've used, although it can be synthetically generated, it's very reasonable to assume that we can find that based on the existing software at pharmacy and what the doctor is willing to share with the patient. Thank you.
Thank you.